Hey, Linda Gerchick, Broker's Advantage. Glad to see you again. I'm here with Harry Dahlia, Real Estate and Beyond, our referral partner for property management. Today we're going to talk, as the title says on this, disaster phone calls.
Wow.
Yeah. So disaster phone calls are when something more than an air conditioner breaks on a property, but when something really, what we consider
Over the top.
over the top, attention right away. Here's one of them. How about a drug bust?
Oh, those are always fun.
Yeah, so let's talk about drug bust. What happens when you get the call that the police are on site and the news is coming and all of that?
Wow. Never experienced that, but I did have a property that I managed for one owner, and then she was going to give me another property, which the night before, Sheriff Joe went in there and
Cleaned them out.
I mean, he had the tank, he busted down the door, and he yanked them out of there, and they had like 60 bundles of marijuana there. But in order to
Well,
handle,
there you go.
in order to handle something like that, of course we always want to assist the police force. That's the first thing. Then I would notify the owner what's going on,
Yeah.
and then
How about evict the tenant immediately?
yes, yeah, we would actually do an immediate eviction. Immediate is, it still goes through the same process, but every tenant that comes into our that signs a lease, they sign a crime-free addendum, which is very important.
And I recommend those highly, and I've used them myself for years.
Yeah, we do everything. Yeah, every lease, it doesn't matter if it's single-family apartment, everyone's got to sign one. It makes it easier for me. I use Hall, Holiday, and Holiday.
Right.
It's their form actually, and I just put in the proper paperwork, the reason why, illegal drugs on the premises. They send it over, and then you usually have a court date within 1 week or less.
Yeah, and then they're gone. Just
And
like
they're gone.
that. I bet they lose their security deposits too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, drugs, it's a reality with tenanted properties, but what about if somebody dies on a property, And I'm not even saying, somebody gets shot, but, people pass away on a property.
That's a great question. I actually had that experience 3 years ago, first time experiencing it. What we did was actually a tenant notified us saying that something smelled funny. It was in July, which is 120 here. What happened was, it was an older gentleman, and he was I just talked to him 2 weeks before. Unfortunately, he died in the property.
Yeah.
What happened was, he died because he failed to pay his electric bill, and it shut off the electric, and he wasn't mentally prepared, and it was so hot in there, he died of exhaustion.
That's a new one. I
And
haven't even heard that one.
Yeah, and then when we went in there, of course we went in there immediately. My partner and I, we drove right there.
Yeah.
And the maintenance guy was there. We opened the door, and we both looked. We were like, "Yep, he's dead." So immediately we called the police.
Who calls the coroner?
Who calls the coroner? Correct. And then we called the owner. The next person you have to call is the insurance company.
Yeah.
That's actually covered in your insurance. And then we have a company that will actually go out there, do the estimate, take care of all the insurance for us.
The remediation and all of that.
Remediation.
And remediation of this, several years ago, I was doing a 100-unit apartment building for a client. And during our inspections, the client was on site, and they did not want to go into every door. And one of the doors that, of course, was supposed to be a storage room, somebody had shot their head off. And the owner had not remediated the property. It cost the buyer, it was his fault, not mine, $30,000 to remediate that unit. Okay? Can you imagine? Oh my God. It was awful. But that's why when we do inspections, we go into every single door, because the one door that somebody doesn't want you to see, I can almost guarantee is always the bad one.
Another point I'd like to,
Sure.
when a situation that happens is next to kin.
Yeah.
We have to this is a property I took over, and we didn't have immediate kin, so the police actually skip traced and actually found his daughter. She was living in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to come all the way here. She got all the stuff that she wanted, and then I had them sign a piece of paper stating that anything left in there we just get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the remediation came in, and then
So here's a couple of other ideas. What about a fire?
A fire.
That probably is one of the more common things that you handle.
Well, actually, I just had this happen in August. I was away in Kentucky for personal reasons. I got a phone call at 7:30 Kentucky time, which was 2 hours. Would be like 5:30 here, and the tenant reported that they had a fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, how bad is it? Well, it ended up being pretty bad. I had my partner went by and looked at it, and then I contacted the owner immediately, contacted the insurance company, got it.
But wait a minute, I assume someone called the fire department first.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
always a good thing to do.
Yes, the tenant did call the fire department. Actually, the next door neighbor noticed that the kitchen was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we went through that process, contacted the insurance company, got a full report. What happened was the tenant actually had to move out,
Yeah.
and the owner gave back the tenant their security deposit, no fault to the tenant. And good story though. I have a good relationship with this owner. We actually were able to put the previous tenant in it 3 months later into another unit.
Great. Yeah.
So we didn't lose a good tenant.
And that's important because if you're a good property manager, you want to hold on to your tenants because they're gold.
Yes.
Right? So on that point, thank you again for listening to Broker's Advantage and stay tuned.